Israeli troops have fired shots near thousands of Palestinians trying to receive aid packages as a group chosen by Israel to take food into Gaza was overwhelmed at an aid centre. The Israeli Prime Minister admits there was a temporary loss of control as the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation handed out food. It was the second day of operations for the organisation following Israel's aid blockade on the territory.
Thousands of Palestinians rushed into a new aid distribution centre near Rafah in southern Gaza, tearing down fences to reach the limited supplies. Some of the first to be handed out after nearly 3 months of an Israeli blockade.
There was no order. The people rushed to take something. We didn't get anything. There was shooting and we fled.
The Israeli military said it fired warning shots, sending crowds fleeing. Reporters on the scene heard tank and gunfire. This man was seen lying shot on the ground. But the chaos didn't deter the desperate.
We're going to get food for our children. Feel for us. We want someone to care about us and the tragedy that we're in. We don't care about gunfire or shelling. What matters is for us to get food for our children.
Though most of the crowd left empty-handed, officials said 8,000 boxes were handed out, each containing ingredients for about 60 meals.
Rice. This is rice. This is sugar. This is flour.
This footage released by the Israeli army shows the aid distribution site run by a private group called the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. It plans to open 4 such hubs. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu acknowledged Tuesday's chaos, but insisted Israel would push ahead with its plans.
There was some loss of control momentarily. Happily, we brought it back under control. We're going to put many more of these. And the idea is basically to take away the humanitarian looting as a tool of war of Hamas, to give it to the population, eventually to have a sterile zone in the south of Gaza where the entire population can move for its own protection.
The United Nations is refusing to cooperate with Israel's new aid system, saying it does not meet humanitarian principles and risks forcibly displacing Palestinians. It says Israel should open more border crossings and allow aid to be distributed independently and impartially.
Earlier, DW senior international correspondent Fanny Fachar told us what happened at the Gaza aid station.
Scenes of chaos, scenes of sheer desperation, in fact, of people rushing to this site, trying to get their hands on a food box, because one has to really understand these people have been deprived of the very basics, regular access to food, to medicine for nearly 3 months, because this is the time period since Israel has put Gaza under a complete blockade. So you see people really getting to this site, the ones who were walking for hours to even get to Rafah and to trying to get some food back home, wherever, which part from the strip they were trying to get to. And what we see is chaos. In fact, members of that Gaza Humanitarian Foundation temporarily have withdrawn so that people could get their hands on whatever they found there. And we also heard and have seen in these images that there were shots fired. Later, Israel claimed that these were warning shots, but it's actually unclear whether and how many people got injured during this situation. So clearly what we have seen unfold there is not what we would call distributing aid in an orderly fashion in any manner. So obviously that has drawn a lot of criticism. But even before the operation has started by the UN, but also by other aid organizations.
Fanny Fachar there reporting from Jerusalem. And we're now joined by Julie Viau. She's Associate Professor for Anthropology and Sociology at the Geneva Graduate Institute, and she specialises in humanitarian aid organisations. Julie, the UN and other aid groups have criticised the new Gaza Humanitarian Foundation because it, quote, contradicts humanitarian principles. What's your take?
Well, I think we all agree. I think, it's these images that you just show are really heartbreaking. And this chaos that we see unfolding before our eyes as a genocide is going on could have been completely anticipated. So there is no humanitarian aid being distributed at all. It's people rushing to try and grab whatever they can. in a situation where people have been starving for months now. So this is a diversion of attention, and I think we should not use the term humanitarian to describe this scheme that is very cynical and very sad.
Now, do you think that Gazans who are desperate and hungry, do they really care who the food comes from?
I don't think Gazans care about where the food comes from. The thing is that the humanitarian, this humanitarian foundation is a scheme that is meant to divert the attention of the international community to what is exactly going on at the moment as we speak, which is a genocide. And I think we need to be worried, of the Israeli government's attempt at trying to whitewash what it is actually doing. So the fact that these 3 distribution points, are placed in southern Gaza is also a means to attract the population to that part of the strip in order to be able to occupy the rest of the strip. I mean, it's quite clear. So it has nothing to do with humanitarianism. It has to do with, the military maneuvers that the government of Israel is currently, organizing.
Julie Bio there with the Geneva Graduate Institute. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.